Yes.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is Amy, and I'm with my good friend Peggy, and we are talking about a parenting series she's calling Parenting from the Heart. It's a 6 week series that she's going to be offering in January. And I'm super excited because I just remember when my daughter, she was about 5 years old. And I had all these questions, and I remember writing down to Hope with you, and I remember chatting it up with you about ideas because you've been a Waldorf teacher for 20 years?
About 20 years. I've been doing something different for the last 3 years, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
preschool
a
teacher, and it was
lot
like,
of time
"Oh,
with
I
children
have
and
someone
families.
to share this like, to, like,
Yeah.
learn from," and you have so much to give and so much time you've spent with children and in just being with parents and helping guide them. So maybe share a little bit about your, like, journey to where you are right now with, hosting
Yeah.
parenting classes.
Well, I love working with families, helping them find uh, what's important to them and to give them tools to understand one, their what are the real needs of the young child and how to really support this slow unfolding development because everything in our culture is faster, more, earlier, and I see it damaging to children, and I see the faster, more, do it hard on families. And the actual full title is Parenting from the Heart for a More Beautiful World, because I absolutely believe that how we um, care for, protect, nurture young children has a far reaching ripple effect out into the world. And for the rest of their life, it's the young years are the foundation for their life, for their health, for how they relate to the world, how they relate to themselves. And it's also, how do we create families where relationships and harmony and there's where everybody thrives. Yeah. So in the course of my, almost 20 years teaching early childhood, I had monthly parent meetings. So that's a lot of parent meetings. And I've done lots of workshops on various topics um, relating to health, relating to raising children, relating to parenting and self development. I also feel like I know parenting can be a very powerful path of self development if you so choose to take it on
Mm,
consciously.
yeah, I think with Nature Song, I love the idea of exploring rites of passage and, that transition from into being a parent is just like it's such a special like time, and it lasts, right? Like we were talking before this, I have a child that's 14, and it's like the changes that take place, we're always continually like learning more about ourselves, and use like children really help us, I think, have a personal journey of self-growth. And that's why I think, when I was looking at the topics that you were sharing, it was like the first class was on like values and figuring out what's important to you, and so you can clear the noise and really focus. And when you really have to focus about what your values are, you have to like look inward, and like really determine that for
And
yourself.
ideally, that that conversation, when you become a parent, you don't really sit down with your partner and be like, okay, what are our values? What's important to us? You just kind of jump into it. All of a sudden you've got this tiny little baby. You're trying to even figure out how to hold it and stuff. and but to have a space and time where you get to explore, plan, you talk with your partner. I think it's very valuable for both parents to be able to come to a workshop. It's every other week for 6 sessions to really get on the same page. It will set the tone for your entire parenting path. And you will find much less when you do find conflict, because conflict is part of life, you can bring it back to those values. But when only one person parent is really diving in, it doesn't work as well. So I also feel that to understand the deeper needs of children and the trajectory of human development, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, but also spiritually. Like, who is the being and how do we support their becoming? And it it is just invaluable when I see both parents showing up and being able to talk about it and chew on things and bring their questions with in a group. You're seen, you're heard, you're witnessed. It's powerful. There's a lot of uh, learning and transformation,
Yeah.
and you give yourself such a solid foundation.
I remember it makes me think of like when I first, I had the baby thing going on and then it was toddler and then it was like 4. I'm like, oh wow. Like I would clean and I would listen to podcasts and I didn't have really much time to read. So many podcasts. And it was like I felt like I was doing all this learning on my own. And when heard that you have done parenting classes in the past, I was like, how important, how special it would be to be with a group of people, not just individually doing this and learning and thinking about it, but doing it with a group of others and coming back, every week, talk about what you had thought about that following week. I think it's such a
Yeah.
great idea.
Well, one of the things that I value so much is community. And throughout my parenting journey, I've always had a community of other parents. When my daughter was an infant, we had a baby. We just had a group of friends that we all happened to be pregnant together, and we kept going. And had people come in and we'd meet, and we had a baby massage person come and teach us massage. We had different people that would kind of help infuse our little group with more things to learn and grow from, and just be a support for each other. Yeah, community. And from I still see parents from 20 years ago. um, One, they tell me that the classes with me changed, had a profound effect on how they parented their whole family life. And the groups of families stayed friends for years and years, and that is really the most wonderful. And I'm friends with them too. I really enjoy the ongoing relationships that I get to have with all these wonderful people. It's great.
Yeah, I think that's so neat. And I mean, and you were talking about how you had a pod and you found people through each stage, we were talking about, right, um, adolescence and I too had a pod with families, with Nature Song. That's how it started. Nature Song was a group of us coming together weekly in the woods. And we have, like you said, we have stayed friends and it's really supportive to do this with others.
Yes.
And that's kind of like that's the goal with Nature Song is realizing how special it is to come together and how important it is to have that community of support with each other and to build off of that.
And it's more fun and joyful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more fun and joyful. And like, what other things can we do together and create once we really get
Mhm.
to know each other? So, um, I'm excited about that. So to summarize a little bit about the details, you were saying that it will be every other week.
Every other week, Sunday afternoons, 3 to 4:30, just an hour and a half. Hopefully that time is easy to find childcare,
Mhm.
because it really is. I can't stress enough how important it is to have both parents be on the same page. Um, we'll just find things much easier. So the first gathering is really about creating the community, um, and touching with our values and the path of parenting. Kind of, I don't have my notes, so if I miss
Yeah, I
something,
was trying to get them without looking like I'm looking at my phone.
you can pop in because my notes are on the computer. My
Yeah.
computer's being used for Zoom.
Yes,
And
so
then the
creating
second,
community, the first one.
yeah, really just founding the community, um, and really hearing what your struggles are and what your questions are, because that will also inform what I bring. Uh, the second,
Parenting as a path of self-development, working through
yeah,
triggers and repairing ruptures,
yeah. So the
and the different
second, the
models.
second module week, the second week that we're together is really about the path of parenting and how you probably know this, but young children will trigger all your unhealed stuff. You will find yourself reacting in ways you never imagined you would, and you're kind of what's going on here. So I offer a lot of tools. I also have a lot of background in psychological tools like internal family systems, working with our own parts, reparenting our wounded parts, which has a very transformational effect. Um, what was one of the other things you said?
Trigger repairing ruptures,
Oh, yeah, right.
attachment.
So that in conflict, we will have conflict. We will yell at our children. We will do things we wish we hadn't done. But in attachment theory, the problems with attachment don't happen with conflict and ruptures and everything. They happen when there hasn't been repair. So as long as we can repair, like when children see their parents fight, it's not traumatic for them if they also see the repair between their parents. The times when we are at our worst, usually when our children are our worst too, and they really need it, that's when the repair after that actually strengthens attachment
Mm.
because they will learn that through life we will always have conflict, but we can repair it. So it actually builds a more resilient system. Children who don't have much conflict or see it, they don't get to learn the repair too. So those are some of the tools and things we'll look at in that second one.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the third one is the overview of child development.
Yes, yes.
So there are many cycles in this in the trajectory of life, and the first 7 years are the foundation. We're building the foundation of the house, you could say, and the first 3 years are absolutely the deepest impressions go in, and so everything we do in those first 7 years has a profound impact on that child's life. So it's good to understand the deeper needs
Mm.
of the children at each of the ages. So depending on the ages of the group, um, then we can tailor that and fine tune it, but also to give an overview of what's to come,
Mm.
as your children mature and what's kind of the learning imperative. What are the soul needs, you could say,
Mm.
and how children learn in the early years is really so. I think that might be another one.
Yep, yeah. All Children Are Genius is
Yeah.
the session 4 on the 18th.
So all children are genius is so true. Every child comes into this world with their impeccable nature, you know, and I've always thought it was my job to help parents and as a teacher to help parents, one, you know, kind of nurture that geniuses, um, and to remove hindrances, things that get in the way. So how do we support that? How do we support that? That's a big piece of that fourth
Mm.
session.
I see. I mean, shout out to Waldorf education and philosophy. I really love that part about it. It just seeing the child for who they are and learning that and seeing the good in them is just like it's so important and
Yeah.
special,
There are
especially when,
no bad children.
yeah, when you're struggling.
All behavior is expressing a need.
Yeah.
So when we have that, um, as our foundational paradigm, we see things through a much more loving lens, right?
Yeah. A little reminder every like a reminder for myself every time,
Yeah,
like to think
right.
that.
You need a lot of reminders. That's
Yeah.
why support's good.
Supporting health and wellness is
Oh,
the next
yes.
session.
So I have a huge background in nutrition, natural health, herbs, plants, um, all the ways that we can keep ourselves and our children healthy. Um, how do we support strong systems, immune systems? How do we take care of things at home so we don't have to always go to the doctor? We
Mm.
can take care of a lot of things at home, and tools that what supports health and what is uh, the opposite.
Mm.
So what things detract from health. I find it really empowering to be able to when everybody else is getting sick, we're staying healthy. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And then the
it,
last one, creating a family life that feels good, simplifying, and then resources.
yeah. So family life that feels good is, basically parenting from the heart. The path of conscious parenting is swimming upstream against the tide of our Western modern culture. Uh, So it's about looking at all the different aspects of your life and where can we simplify.
Mm.
When children have um, meltdowns or they're just having a period where they're really struggling, how do we simplify? How do we simplify schedules? How do we simplify choices? How do we simplify activities? How do we look at our home and simplify even, for some children that are very susceptible, too much um, input for a young child can cause like inner congestion that um, the symptoms are, misbehaving and melting down and just not being very. And also when we're all as adults trying to run around and do this, that, scheduling on top of work and all the other things of running a household. So this session is really about evaluating and kind of creating places where small doable changes. Um,
Mm.
and a lot of that is informed by a wonderful book called Simplicity Parenting. So I'll bring things from that book. And I have a lot. In that session, I'll also leave you with a lot of resources. Each session, I'll bring physical handouts and things you can write notes on. Each session, there will be time to share, to bring questions. Um, the overarching agreements are everything is confidential. That we're not there to fix or advise anybody else unless it's asked for. That we are a judgment-free zone. We all have so much going on, and we're all trying to do our best. And unless you're in somebody else's shoes, you would probably, if you were in somebody else's shoe, you would probably act just the same way. So we're just trying to give each other a lot of space and have this forum where we can all um, benefit for ourselves, for our children, and for the world.
Mhm. I know. We were talking about this idea of like we're like nature song and seedling school and your classes, just all the things you said are the things that the culture I want to bring for nature
Yeah.
song, and for the community to really start a culture that thinks about these things and learns together in a non-judgmental way, and also just that slowing down, and really thinking about what's important, like what things really are important in our lives. And
A
sometimes
culture
that
that nurtures life in
yeah,
all of its
yeah.
beautiful forms.
And you are the perfect, like, I've learned so much from you, and I'm really honored to have met you and have had you as a mentor. And now I'm excited for some of the seedling moms are going to be joining, and dads, hopefully, and anyone else.
Get in there, daddy O's.
I'm
And
going
it's
to
really, yeah,
share
it's
this.
exciting. I love
Yeah,
what you're doing and
thank you.
creating.
I'm going to share this. With the seedling school parents. And so feel like there'll be about 4 or 5 spots available for people that might be interested. Like I'm not might be, but I would love for them to join your class and get to know each other and build that community, and then continue um, meeting with me out in nature, probably starting in April, because that would be perfect. It's like you've had this time
February.
together with the adults, and now we can bring the children out into nature and connect in
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
so nice to have that adult community formed. And
Yeah.
then there's just this like holding for the children, you know, they
And
feel,
yourself, right? Like
yeah,
holding for the children, and like you're held.
yes, you are. Yes.
So, I will share with the link. It's on my Nature Song page where you can fill out a little Google form, and then I'll share it with Peggy, and she can connect with you um, about the details and signing up and all that.
Yeah, and if people have more questions too, I'll reach back to them.
Okay, yeah, I can add that
All
into
right,
the thing.
wonderful talking to you, Amy.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Peggy, and I can't wait. This starts, let's see, January. Oh, my phone is,
The second, I believe it's the second and fourth Sunday of
yeah,
January, February,
January
March.
7th. So it would be nice, yeah, if I'm gonna
Wait,
start
January
spreading out
7th?
interest.
Is that, did I get that wrong?
You might, it's, we can fix
Sorry. I
that.
just have to double check that because I have some commitments. I thought I planned it out. Wait, oops. Um, oops. Sorry.
This might be the old sheet that you gave me. So we'll clarify that and then
Yes,
um,
the dates. I think it has to be um it has oh no, it is the first. You're right.
that works.
I
Okay.
have to work around. No, it has to work. It doesn't work. We will confirm the dates. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No, no worries. This is part of it, right? Figuring out
Yeah,
how to
figuring
add
it out. I have some other
pieces.
commitments, and I like keeping it consistent because it's easier to remember. I like rhythmic things.
Hmm.
So do children.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we'll figure it out. And I feel like this, oh, I would have loved to have this in my life when my children
Yeah.
were small. So,
Yeah, me too.
and
Well,
oh, and maybe you'll do a parenting pod for older kids, maybe sometime.
mhm,
I don't know. That would be nice too.
possibility. So I will get back to you
Hmm.
by tomorrow about the exact dates.
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
great.
All right. Thank
Wonderful.
you,
Bye.
Katie. Bye.